program.
All right, got the thumbs up. Let's get this thing started. It's week 6 of the high school football season, and this is the Temple Day Telegram Sports Podcast. Welcome to October as well, but unfortunately it is still 90 degrees outside, super humid, so that kind of puts a damper on things. Not exactly fired about that. October and 90, boo hiss.
Spoken like someone from Northern California.
Yeah. I was spoiled for 25, 30 years of my life. I'm going to run down the games this week. Thursday night's game is Killeen Ellison at Harker Heights. We got Waco at Coppers Cove, Killeen at Killeen Shoemaker, Salado at Robinson, Lago Vista at Academy, Troy at Gerald, Maynard New Tech at Rockdale, Russo Letty at Itasca, Moody at Riesel, Holland at Thorndale, Rosebud Lott at Marlin, Glen Rose at Gatesville, Katy St. John at Cameron-Yo, Rogers at Burton, Bartlett at Snook, and Somerville at Granger. That's pretty loaded.
It's a lot of games.
A lot of games. Although I feel like I skipped one or missed one.
Couple of Saturday games this week.
Did I miss one?
Did you do CTCS?
I did not, but they're off, right?
Oh, that would be a good reason not to.
No, they got
they're playing
Dallas Covenant.
Okay, Dallas Covenant. Yeah,
we're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Just like CTCS.
And Buckholz is also playing on Saturday. Round Rock Christian.
Excellent.
There's another one though.
I think it might be Belton Temple.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Maybe.
That's an easy one to forget around here this week.
I don't even know if we're going to talk about that much.
Are we covering that game?
I don't know. Maybe. Yep. Belton at Temple. District 12-6A. 2 teams that have not lost in league yet. This is the 3rd straight meeting of those 2 rivals after 2 years off. And this time it is a district game, unlike the last 2 years when it was the season opener for a pair of non-district opponents. One was in Class 5A still.
Yeah. And
one was in 6A. Now, there's a lot more to it.
This time it counts.
It does. I mean, it counted before, but this time it really counts. You have to add the really.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people are excited about this one, as they should be. It is going to be a good game. There are going to be a lot of people there. And Temple's favored, as it has been the last few years.
What's the point spread?
According to a couple, actually, websites, which I rarely visit, I just am told about them, Temple's like 20-point favorites on a couple, and then maybe like a 7-point on another. But, yeah.
I'm thinking that latter one is a little closer.
That's what I'd go with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just look at the last 2 matchups.
Yes.
It was an 8-point Temple win and a 7-point Temple win.
Right.
And in both those games, Belton led in the 3rd quarter. So,
yeah. I think
you could say this one can go either way.
Could.
You could say that.
Could.
But from Temple's perspective, Greg, since you've been to all their games and you visit weekly with the Wildcats, how are they preparing for this one?
They have a lot of respect for Belton. I think they realize this is the, I was going to say best team they've played since Round Rock Cedar Ridge. They tend to think Belton's the best team they've played to date. Part of that Cedar Ridge maybe isn't quite as stout as the past couple of years, but still that was a good team. But no, they know Belton's got a very complete team and rides a lot of momentum into this game with the 4 straight wins, 3 straight district wins. Plus, Belton hasn't broken stride. I mean, they played all 5 weeks so far. Temple coming in off the bye week, which, I think can help if you're banged up, but Temple really wasn't banged up. So they probably would have rather kept on playing, but the bye comes where it comes. And, Temple reports to be fully healthy. They give Anthony Jackson, the running back, a game off and kind of the bye week to get back up to full speed. And so Temple probably as healthy as it could be. Both teams are coming in off of blowout wins over Harker Heights and Shoemaker. So, I mean, it's not like they've really been tested in the last couple of weeks. Because Belton was tested by Cove maybe late in that game. So I think, both teams probably are playing about as well as they could be going into this. So that's what people want to see. And the question is, Temple's on this 5-game winning streak against Belton. does Belton believe it can win this game for the first time since 2010?
And that 2010 game, Belton won 42-24. I was looking at that stuff earlier.
I believe Marcus might have been at that game. Last Belton win over Temple, 2010, the 1-9 year for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it was Jay Ward coach team, I believe.
Rodney Southern.
And I was not at that game.
Oh.
Somebody was.
Maybe I was. I don't remember.
It would have been Bryce Monson's last year as Temple's head coach.
Yeah. Okay. So it was Monson against Southern. So I guess I was there.
Clearly a memorable night in Marcus's memory banks.
I didn't know we were coming to me this soon.
Sorry to throw a curveball at you.
I'm here playing Tetris on my smartphone over here.
Come back later, Lumberg.
Tetris on your smartphone. Well,
not really. I was looking up some stats on a couple of opponents.
The old looking up stats.
That's what a lot of Temple and Belton starters have been doing during the fourth quarter of the last couple of games.
Yeah,
They've
you mentioned that. I mean, the last couple of games for both teams, starters have been out, at least in the fourth quarter. But going back to those previous five years or 5 matchups with Temple and Belton, after Belton won that one in 2010, Temple won in 2011 23-8, 2012 50-44, in 2013 54-20, and then there was a couple 2-year break when they introduced Class 6A to Texas football. And then we mentioned the last 2 matchups in 2016 and 17. Close games, very competitive games.
Belton led in the third quarter of both.
Belton led 17-14 at halftime 2 years ago, and then Temple outscored the Tigers 14-3 in the second half.
More of a defensive game,
that was a game that was delayed almost 2 hours by lightning. The season opener for both. Everyone's fired up. All the fans had to leave the stadium. It was kind of chaos, but the game kind of made up for that because it was well played on both sides, especially for a season opener. And then last year, Temple jumped out to a 14-0 lead.
Quickly,
very quickly. It ended up being tied 17-17 at halftime. And then Belton went ahead midway through the third quarter by 14, lost its starting quarterback, and Temple kind of started running the ball right at Belton. That defense wore down a little bit, and Temple wound up with the victory by 7. But you're right. Does Belton believe it can win? Yeah, I think so. Especially the way they've been playing of late. They're 4-1 overall, 4 straight wins. They had a tough opening game against Austin Westlake, and the Tigers did not perform poorly. They just they lost that game.
Weren't the better team.
I think they scored maybe 10 or 14 points, something like that, right toward the end of the first half. That kind of separated everything. But I think Belton's confident, and it's interesting to read quotes from both teams. They're saying, we know it's a big game, we know it's a rivalry, we're all excited, but we're not changing anything we're doing this week. We're approaching this as any other Friday night. That's easier said than, I don't know. Or I don't know if you believe all of that, but it's probably true for the most part. I mean, they're trying to just concentrate on getting better and getting ready for this game. And, you mentioned stats as well. A couple quarterbacks doing their thing early in the season. Jared Wiley for Temple and Connor Carruthers for Belton, putting up good numbers, protecting the ball for the most part, and leading those offenses. And 2 defenses. Belton, not known for its defense over the last, I would say in the last few years it's definitely improved, but they've only allowed, the first string has only allowed 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. And Temple's first-string defense hasn't allowed a point.
Right, in 3 weeks. Now, granted, not against the greatest competition, the team from Mexico and then Heights and Shoemaker, but still, you still got to do that. And that said, Temple's defense hasn't had to play into the fourth quarter, really, since the season opener. So, I think the key for Belton, make it a 4-quarter game, test Temple's stamina. I think the question will be, can Carruthers hold up and make plays and be as efficient as he has been against a really good Temple defensive front, 2 really good linebackers, 1 real good cornerback and another good one, and then some pretty good safeties, including Monto President, who's in this game. He and Antoine Holiday for the 3rd straight year starting. So a lot a lot of old bulls on the Temple defense, and the question I think will be, can Carruthers get it to all his different receivers? Can the two different good running backs mix in? Maybe can Carruthers keep him honest with running the ball a little bit? So
he started doing that last week,
right,
for the first time this year, and he had a few hundred yards rushing last year. And that was the first time I saw him do that last week. He beat Shoemaker.
Right.
And you mentioned defensive line pressure on the quarterback. I mean, on the other side, Belton's defensive line has played quite well this year. Their two defensive ends definitely cause some havoc as far as quarterback pressure. And can they get to Wiley? And if they do, how will he react? He hasn't thrown an interception.
No. And also, he hasn't done much running this year, but he's really capable of running the ball quite well. It's just they haven't shown it since the first game, and that was just really one run at that. But he might have to run some in this game to help Temple's cause, because I don't think he's just going to get to sit back there all day. So he's definitely, at 6'6", 230 with some athleticism. He can run the ball, and he might need to in this game. And, of course, he's got weapons galore with Quentin Johnston, DeJohn Overton, Anthony Jackson, some other receivers who are capable. So you lean in a high-scoring game or low-scoring or medium?
I think we're probably looking at something similar to last year. Or maybe in between the two.
A little 31-28 or something like that, 30-24 maybe.
Temple kind of holds a little bit of something over Belton at this point after winning 5 in a row.
Yeah.
And can the Tigers break through? They've lost a lot of close games over the last couple of years, which means they've been in games, but they haven't made enough plays, whether it's in crunch time or there's just been one or two things that have kind of derailed.
And they've got their two main nemeses would be Temple and Midway, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Just like Temple's have been College Station and Midway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's 7 games in the last 2 years lost by Belton by like 5.2 points or something like that, which like I said, shows you they've been in these games but haven't quite gotten the hump yet. But everyone should be excited about this. I know ticket sales have been
brisk.
Solid. Yeah. So it's a good one.
Yeah.
And I hope whatever trash talk is happening outside of the football field and in the stands and things like that doesn't overshadow what should be a really good game, because that's the most important thing, is what's happening on the field. Two good teams going at it for a piece of first place in district. But
and at the end of the day, it's just a football game.
It really is. I mean, you can laugh at the cliche, but it is.
It is.
It's not worth much more than that.
The sun will come up on Saturday morning regardless.
Yeah, it will for me, that's for sure.
No, I think if you look at it, though, I think the winner of this pretty much cements their spot in the playoffs, especially Belton, because that'll be their 4th win. So it's a little bit more than just a football game.
Yeah.
Besides all the other hype too.
As far as
I understand what you're saying
and all that stuff. Playoff implications. But really, Belton's most significant game after Temple is it's next week after it's idle. Friday and playing Killeen. Those two teams are Division I teams.
Yes.
Seeding is involved there. This one is kind of just planting yourself, like you said, Marcus, in the top 4 more than halfway through the season.
Yeah, and Temple looks to be a Division II team, so they're really you just want to be that number 1 seed in whatever your division is going into the playoffs, which I'm not 100% sure on this, but you get home field seeding if you're the higher seed in your only if you're the district champion. I'm trying to remember what the technicality is.
It's not only if you're district champion.
Okay. Just the higher of the 2 seeds?
Belton had it 2 years in a row.
Against South Grand Prairie, right?
And it depended on where Belton finished in district as opposed to where South Grand Prairie finished. So
there you go.
That home game is definitely a treat.
Yeah, which this year, if Temple's able to get that would give them 7 home games, because they already have 6, and that would be a big deal to have.
That's something else for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we ran down some of the other games in the area. Let's get to a few of those. One that jumps out right away is Rockdale, which was off last week. They get to open up their new stadium, and they've been on the road ever since the season started. 4 games. They were the home team in one of them, but that was at Taylor on a neutral site, basically. So the Tigers have won 3 in a row right after losing that opener by a point. And they're opening district going up against Maynard New Tech, which had the new varsity program, which had a tough time against Academy, and they're not going to have it much easier against the Tigers. But an exciting time over there in Rockdale, getting to open up the new Tiger Field.
What an honor for Maynard New Tech to go be that sacrificial lamb.
Right. Yeah.
I hope we don't have many New Tech fans listening to the podcast, but
yeah, I'm sure it looks nice over there. That's a neat thing out in Rockdale. Anything else jumping out at people? Holland, maybe?
Holland, Thorndale.
Yeah. That's another big one.
It sounds like a good one.
Holland, if we keep bringing up Holland playing big games for some reason.
Yeah, because they've had a top-heavy schedule really for they've played a beastly schedule, no doubt about it. I'd like to say it probably gets easier after this, but I'm not sure. I mean, you got to take care of business this week, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be an early, what is it? The first game of that second game of that district?
Yeah. Second district game, but two teams that are 1-0. They won their openers. And, Thorndale's only played 3 games, but they've won all 3 pretty handily. So, this could be one of those.
Right. It's kind of like the de facto district championship game in a way, and
you obviously don't want to write off all the other teams in the district, but still, I mean, this one looks like it's between the 2 favorites at this point.
I was going to throw something out there. I mean, do y'all think Holland has sort of taken the mantle of the best area team, 2A and under, maybe now, like over the last few seasons, 3-4 seasons? I mean, it seems like they've been in the mix. They've had some good.
Yeah, I think Granger might give a good run.
Granger,
for it,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 16 games or whatever it's been.
Yeah,
it's definitely a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Granger. They've won 4 in a row, and they're looking really good. Second year over there with Coach Brock. But yeah, I mean, Holland's. I think you need another year maybe to see how that goes. But they're definitely, they got a lot of promising players. I think they're still pretty young. I'm not totally sure. You went out there to talk to Cooper. Is he a senior?
He's a junior, so he'll be back next year.
Isn't Spin only a junior?
Spin's
freshman, right?
No, he's not a freshman.
He's an upperclassman, so
but I don't think he's a senior. He's probably a junior at the oldest.
I think Brady Shelton, they're kind of do it all man. He's at least a junior, maybe a senior, but I think a junior. So they've got a lot of young guys that gained a lot of experience from that 10-win team last season, and they're only going to get better. And we talked about it already, but when you play a schedule like that already, where you play Mart and you play Crawford, you open up your district with Hearn, which a lot of people predicted would be the district champions at the end of the season. That's only going to help you. My thing with this game is that Holland has played such a tough schedule, so I feel like they are performing really well at this time. Thorndale, they're getting a lot of recognition each week in the the Class 2A poll. They're getting votes. A lot of people realize that they're good, but I just feel like they haven't played that tough of a competition as Holland has. And I mean, and it's hard because Holland's just played such a ridiculous schedule so far. So, Holland still has some areas they need to improve on. Thorndale's obviously a real strong team. I'm really kind of up in the air on this one. I'm not sure which way to lean, but I mean, I think it's going to be a very competitive game no matter what.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you because you look at Thorndale's schedule and you can't really gauge much from it, like how solid they are. I mean, they're traditionally a pretty decent program, but it's kind of tough just looking at who they've played. And I mean, even if the games that they didn't play, like the one that got rained out against Dawson's not really a competitive team.
Hey, don't you know people in Dawson?
I do know people in Dawson. I used to, long before I started working here, I used to be the public address announcer for the Dawson Bulldogs.
Shout out Dawson.
Swimming in the creek.
What'd you do to get fired?
Yes, it was me, Pacey, and the whole gang out of Dawson's Creek. I took this job is what I did. And, makes it kind of hard to call a public address announcement for a football stadium when you kind of work Friday nights. Also became a long commute. But
was Johnny Moxon playing quarterback back then for Dawson?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. They did have some guys that they did have some guys that actually became familiar faces around here, like Isaac Shaw. Went to UMHB, and
Trina
now
Lusk.
He runs a fitness facility out here. I think he's still open.
Trina Lusk
was there, but we're kind of getting off track. But anyway, So if Thorndale had played them, it would not have been a good test because this is a totally different Dawson team. They were pretty decent when I was back there, but now it's totally different. And so I think I'm kind of giving the edge to Holland, even though they're on the road. But
Yeah.
I mean, we know what Holland can do. We've seen them perform. Talbert's got that program going. Coach Brad Talbert out there, and I think they're going to be all right. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Definitely. By the way, quick shout out to Daniel over there. He's playing hurt tonight,
All right, Daniel.
but still showing up and giving 100%.
Yeah.
Allergies do not stop the podcast.
No,
Podcast must go on.
that's true. And we're going to keep it going right now. Also, quick shout out to Central Texas Christian. They're undefeated at 5-0.
5-0.
They're rolling teams right now. I'm not sure when's that district start.
I think 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
We still got
okay.
a couple of games before.
Yeah, that's as we said before, that's when it counts.
I think
But-
the coaches in that district might petition that Ryland Turner does not belong playing at this level.
Yeah.
He could probably be helping out some 4A, 5A teams locally, but for now he's just going to steamroll the private school competition.
That's exactly what's been happening.
The other 12-6A, just real quick, other 12-6A matchups, just to recap, Ellison at Harker Heights, Waco at Coppers Cove, and Killeen at Shoemaker. And then in 8-4-8-2, Salado at Robinson. Salado won its district opener last week, held on to beat a really good Connolly team.
Yeah, that was a really entertaining game.
Yeah.
I mean, Salado's got the ground attack cranking again with 3 new backs. Good line. I think you have 2 returning starters on the line, but otherwise it's all new guys.
Yeah.
Got a freshman quarterback, the coach's son, Hare, and he's doing a good job of getting it to the right guys and carrying out the fakes like the slot T quarterback has to do. And it was a really gut check performance by the Salado defense because territory and defense stepped up at the key times. So that was a kind of a must win for Salado to hang near the top of the district, I think.
And did Salado really only throw 1 pass that entire game?
Yeah, and it got intercepted.
You know what? I think I need a trial for Salado because I think I can.
Yeah, they tried the old slip a guy deep down the middle after you run it 39 consecutive plays, and
Hey, man, I saw them win in overtime
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Third round of
Alamo
playoffs,
Dome.
you're on a pass.
Alamo Dome.
Right.
Yeah.
When it works, it really works.
Yeah.
I think they threw their highest amount of passes in their season opener against Troy.
Oh, yeah.
But because I don't remember how many it was, but I want to say it was close to double digits that day.
Yeah, the Eagles have
pass happy.
They have a pretty interesting matchup this week against Robinson, which has done some really good things and then looked not great at other times. So
They're 2-2, scored 125 points, given up 125
yeah.
points.
See, there you go. Yeah.
Salado, their physicality in the ground game will definitely test Robinson to see if they're tough enough because that Salado, out of the 48 minutes, that ground attack can probably hold on to it for 2/3 of the time.
Yeah.
Or they just bust loose and go 70 yards. Rook Brown has speed to take it to the house, and Turk and Cook are really physical.
Yeah.
They're going to get like 7-8 yards a carry. So it's an impressive attack when they get it rolling.
For sure. Down in District 10 3A Division 1, we already mentioned Rockdale hosting Maynard New Tech. Lago Vista at Academy and Troy at Gerald are the other games in that district. Academy, like I mentioned before, hammered New Tech last week, which had to feel good for the Bumblebees, winning their first district game.
A chance to get to 500 for the season and 2-0 in district.
Yeah, Lago Vista, not exactly, the giant of that district.
They just haven't been the same since Alan Hare left the
since
coaching
they turned that
post.
program around.
Because he took the slot tee with him, and they're not allowed to run it anymore down there.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Troy at Gerald looks like an interesting matchup. Gerald putting up points this year, winning games this year. Definitely a team that can't be taken lightly. Now, you don't want to jump the gun on them, obviously, but they're doing some good things over there with Coach Amos Davison. Got those kids working hard and wanting to succeed now.
Yeah, they're 3-2, and like even their 2 losses have not been like real blowout losses. They've been competitive in them, and like the first one I think was to Whitney. It was probably their worst loss, 27-12.
Yeah.
And I mean, Gerald's coming around. They could actually I mean, you look at this district and some of the teams in there. I mean, you look at Cameron Yo, obviously, right now is heading above everybody else. I think most people would say Troy and Rockdale, or Rockdale's going to be there. Troy, probably third or second. Probably won't win the district championship after losing to Cameron last week. But Gerald could make a good bid for that fourth spot at this point. I mean, I think they've got a legitimate shot at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they've still got New Tech to come. That's going to be a win almost for sure. And this is a big swing game in the district, I think. Because Troy, as good as they've played against some good teams early, if they can't win at Gerald, you're looking 0-2 now. And you still haven't played Rockdale, Cameron.
No, they played.
No, they played Cameron last week.
Okay, that's right.
Yes.
But I mean, as far as maybe being a contender in the district championship race, you probably got to go win this game at Gerald and then take care of all the teams you so-called should beat, and then you'll have your chance against the big boys later.
Gerald already scoring 166 points this year. And how many games they were shut out? What, 5 of the games last year or something?
At least so.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
And those were not even close shutouts. Some of them, like 77-0.
Yeah.
Cougar pride is back.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, man.
Which is nice for them out there, for sure.
It's good for Tookie Mullen, too. Longtime statistician, friend of the program. He deserves to watch some good football.
Yep.
Over in District 8, 2A, Division 1, Bruce Villetti at Itasca and Moody at Riesel. Moody needs to get going.
Yeah.
Bruce Villetti, they won last week, right?
Well, shootout over Axtell.
Yeah,
51-48.
Yes, that's a good win for them over there. I don't know much about Itasca, if I'm honest, but
they are the Wampus Cats.
Okay, thank you.
They are that.
Good. I think I stepped in some of that earlier.
One of those unique mascots, kind of like the Frost Polar Bear.
That could be a podcast all to itself. Texas mascots.
Yes.
And why they exist.
Cameron Yeoman.
We talked about Holland at Thorndale and 13-2A1. The other game in that district is Rosebud Lot at Marlin. Marlin hasn't scored a point in 4 games this year, which I found astounding.
Their numbers are way down.
Yeah.
And this is after just having a pretty good season last year? Or maybe it was the year before that, but
it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But they're kind of been going downhill. And I think they dropped a classification this year, and you'd think that would kind of help them.
And the school district's been in danger of being shut down by the state.
Yeah, and I wonder how much that has to do with it, because obviously, we're here to talk sports, but education obviously comes first at any school. So you want to make sure that the kids are learning, and the school is getting the job done, education-wise or academic-wise more than athletic-wise.
Yes. Well,
but
my own education has taught me that if you don't score, you usually don't win. So,
I've been there, done that.
Money well spent out at ACU there, Mr. Zapata.
I've got the student loans to prove it.
Should have gone to Southwest Texas. I mean Texas State.
Yeah. Take that.
Man, for a Temple Belton week, this podcast has been all over the place.
This is the best one we've had. Are you kidding?
We come from far-flung universities. Mr. East Texas Baptist over there, and San Jose State guy.
That's it.
The Weave.
Spartans. Let's go 1-11 this year.
Who's that one going to be?
I don't know. Their scout team.
Maybe they'll put an ETBU on the schedule. They should win that one.
San Jose State at UMHB would be interesting.
At least you guys all had football when you were in college.
It's not allowed.
That's true. Barely.
Yep.
But yeah, Rosebud Lot has a chance to even its record, I think, against Marlin. Even
it should.
The Cougars lost by 32 or something last week. It'd be a good time to even up in district.
Yeah, and at this point, if you're Rosebud Lot, you're like, Marlin hasn't scored. We don't want to be the first team to let them score either.
Yeah. And even if they do, we better score more.
Right, exactly. I think Marlin will probably score at some point during the season.
Yeah.
I think Rosebud Lot wins this one.
Yeah, the non-district games, Glen Rose at Gatesville, Katy St. John at Yo, Rogers at Burton, Bartlett at Snook, Somerville at Granger.
That Cameron Yo non-district game, when you're already into district, that pretty odd.
Yeah, they've had a weird schedule to begin with.
I think someone bailed on them on their schedule earlier in the year, so they've had to fill it
off
with...
in week 2, and then they have this right after beating Troy. Very strange.
Yeah, this is a Katy St. John team that's 5-0, I think. Undefeated.
Yeah, I was looking at they've won 3 of those by, I think, 10 points or less. and then one of them was a forfeit win.
Right.
So,
I wasn't going to mention that part, but just mention the 5-0 part. Build up some,
what can you gauge from that? I don't know, but that's where.
Yeah, most of them it's private schools or so.
Yeah.
They're probably not as good as just regular Katy.
No.
It's probably
accurate.
Regular Katy.
Katy bar the door.
Yes. Katy.
And then you also skipped over, you mentioned the Gatesville Glen Rose game in the Northern Dotton District. That'd be another good test for Gatesville, who's, they're getting ready to start district play. Glen Rose is 3-1.
Yeah, they look pretty stout.
And
they just hammered somebody, too.
Yeah. I had that up a minute ago.
No, I don't know who it was.
That's the team I was looking up when, Greg asked me about covering Belton Temple. I was like, where am I? I don't know what I'm doing. Wake me up. But now I don't even have it up anymore.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be a good test for Gatesville.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they got to get ready for that district. That's a stout district still.
Yeah.
But
got a big local college game this week, too.
ETBU's it?
Week. For Crusaders. Hosting Hardin Simmons.
Yep. East Texas Baptist University. Yeah. Pretty handily that last week. So
they're what, number 6 in the latest poll?
Yeah.
So this is probably national game of the week in Division III.
UMHB has yet to run into anybody that can hang.
They probably could have named their score against Southwestern last week. It was that one-sided. Yeah. It was 77-7 final, but it could have been far worse.
It looked like I saw punt return, and I don't even know where the Southwestern players were during the play. It was like
maybe they thought their offense was going for it, and then the punter surprised them.
Yeah, that was quite a beatdown. But Hardin Simmons in town, that's a whole different ballgame for sure. And the crowd should be pretty good for that one too. I'm assuming nice weekend in Bell County.
Texas, Oklahoma play early, so there should be a good crowd for them.
6 p.m. game, right? Yeah.
No excuses.
No, I mean UMHB. Hardin Simmons.
Get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking to.
I would if I could.
We were talking to Eric yesterday. He was saying that Abilene's sending a couple of reporters down for that game, and that's kind of unusual for the Abilene paper to do that. But hey, that's good for them.
But not unusual is the Temple paper sending 2 reporters to the Temple Belton game.
Yeah.
Nope, we've done that pretty much every year, it seems like.
You will not be shorted readers.
No, and you never are when it comes to Temple Belton. I guess.
Thanks for the insight there, Daniel.
There's that cricket.
They don't call him the best color man in the league for nothing.
I take Dayquil or NyQuil. I don't even know.
Well, that was a good one. I'm going to go get some food.
Do some snacks.
Everybody enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games. Thanks for listening once again.